Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a review of God is Good for You by Greg Sheridan. This is a non-fiction book. It comes out today in New Zealand, Wednesday the 25th of July, which is really exciting, so happy birthday to this book. It was sent to me for review by Allen and Unwin New Zealand, so thank you to them for sending this to me. So essentially this is a book that argues that Christianity is declining. It's organised into two different parts. So the first part is on Christianity. So that part of the book goes over basically what Christians believe, what Christianity is. It also clears up some common misconceptions about Christianity, some of the problems of Christianity, and some of the work that Christians do. And then the second part of the book is on Christians, so it's on specific people or Christian groups and kind of their testimonies, so it's what their beliefs are and kind of what their points of view are on different issues. It talks a lot about their struggles as well. And the parts that are on organisations rather than individuals are kind of focused on organisations that are essentially modernising Christianity, so organisations that are doing kind of different new things. And those organisations included some churches, monasteries, and other kind of social work or charity groups. The author, Greg Sheridan, is an Australian Catholic journalist, and you can kind of tell he is all of those things through his writing. So the fact that he is a journalist means that the writing is really good. It's very well structured, very clear, very readable and engaging, so I enjoyed that about it. I love reading non-fiction books by journalists because they're usually so good, and this one is as well. In terms of the fact that he's Australian, I'm a New Zealander, in case you didn't know, but the fact that he's an Australian, most of the time it didn't matter because he kind of makes this a universal argument, although like universal as in focused on the Western world, so countries that are similar to Australia like New Zealand, the US, the UK, Canada, they're all kind of mentioned and covered. The fact that he's an Australian, the only part where that was specifically relevant was he does 2 chapters on Australian politicians, and for me that section was quite dull just because I've heard these people's names in the news, but other than that I don't really know who they are, although a couple of them were really interesting, they didn't feel particularly relevant for me not being from Australia. And the fact that he is a Catholic, that's his like specific demographic within Christianity, although a lot of the examples he uses and things like that are specific to his being a Catholic and his experiences, the overall message applies to Christianity as a whole. So I think it's still interesting. I think it covers a broader view quite well, and he actually discusses a lot of different forms of Christianity specifically as well. I think what I liked most about this book is that it's kind of a combination of history, sociology, philosophy, theology, like all these different things brought together in combination with just his observations of the world and other people's stories and testimonies as well. It means that it's got something for everyone, because different things or like different ways of thinking resonate with different people. So I think the fact that it comes from all those different points of view makes it really effective and really interesting to read. Additionally, I think it also provides something for everyone, whether you're Christian or not, or if you're somewhere in between the two. For someone who's an atheist, I don't think this book will necessarily convince you. I think he provides some compelling reasoning, but he does say that reasoning alone can't really give you faith. You have to kind of have faith as well, and more of like a personal experience of God to be able to believe in it, I think. But I still think it would give an atheist a lot to think about at least. It addresses a lot of the arguments that atheists make against Christianity and other religions, so I think that is really interesting. I think for anyone who is just kind of agnostic or just interested in religion, interested in Christianity, I think you'd find this book really interesting. For someone who is Christian but maybe has doubts and things like that, I think this book could give you a lot of comfort. And then I think also, perhaps most significantly, I think this would be a really good book for Christians who are really firm and strong in their faith, because I think it will give them an idea of why other people maybe struggle with it a bit more, or maybe, you know, why people can be hostile about Christianity, or perhaps just why some people are indifferent or disinterested in it. I think this will be able to kind of broaden your perspective and maybe give you some ideas of like how to talk to those people, or like different ways you can approach discussing religion with different people. I think it covers a lot in that way, which could be really helpful. So in order to tell you guys what I thought about this book personally, I kind of have to give you a bit of like background on me and my beliefs and things like that. So I am someone who's just been interested in Christianity over probably the past year. I've been really exploring it. That kind of for me started because I took electives through uni based on Christianity out of interest. I'm really just interested in religion, philosophy, that kind of thing. So I took some classes. One was on the early history of Christianity. One was the history of Christianity in New Zealand specifically. I've also taken other courses on the philosophy of religion, philosophy of Christianity, and yeah, that kind of sparked my interest. And from there, because for one of those classes, the early Christianity one, I had to read a Bible, I started reading it for that class and I just haven't stopped. I've been working my way through it slowly and I'm just super engaged with it. I really didn't expect for it to resonate with me so much. I think I find it, I don't know, first of all, as someone who reads a lot, like you guys know if you watch my channel regularly, I make all my videos pretty much about books. I love reading, I love stories, and I just think to go back to one of the most well-known books of all time, it just really opens me up to be able to appreciate all of the allusions and references that other books make to the Bible, because it's so common, and I've become like really conscious of it now, and I just, yeah, I feel like I get things that I never really understood before. So I found that really interesting. And yeah, so that's something that I've been kind of exploring and just investigating and feeling out. So for me, this book really contributes to that experience. I'm really glad that I was able to pick it up because I think it's given me a bit of insight on some different things. And like I said, because it deals with history, philosophy, all that kind of thing, it was really engaging for me and I found it relatable in a lot of ways. The author discusses how a lot of people in Australia, which is very similar in New Zealand, especially young people, he goes into the reasons why a lot of them don't identify as Christian anymore. Obviously in this part of the world we're not persecuted for religion in the way that people in other countries are, but I think people are still judged for it, which is kind of just the way it goes. People are always going to be judgmental of any like beliefs or opinions that you have about anything. But I think especially with something like religion, a lot of people are ridiculed and looked down upon for their beliefs. I think there's just a lot of ignorance and misconceptions around religion, and so many people just think all these negative things about it that aren't necessarily true. And for me, having been looking into Christianity, like there's so many things that, or assumptions that I had about it that are just incorrect, and there's so many things that are really, really important within Christianity that weren't obvious to me until I started reading the Bible. So I think this book covers those things really well. If any of you guys pick up this book and read it, let me know so we can talk about it, because I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on different things, especially if you're from different countries. Like I said at the beginning, it covers a lot, it's structured really well, so I recommend this book if it's something that you're interested in, regardless of where you stand on these things. I think it's an interesting read for anyone. Overall, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars. Let me know definitely if you're going to be picking it up, if it's something that sounds like it's interesting to you. And if you have any other non-fiction Christian book recommendations, let me know those in the comments down below. I would love to pick some up. Thank you guys for watching this, and I'll see you with another video in a couple days. Bye.